What's up, True Feelings family? How you guys doing today? Listen, since I was the one doing fake, I don't be holding back and I don't apologize for it. I feel how I feel with certain things, and I'm just gonna really stand on that. However, I was looking for the TMZ for Keith and ran across a lady by the name of, her channel is thenunuverse. What drew me to it was Bonita's picture. I said, okay, I keep telling people, keep doing interviews though. But you know what? I really have to say, I enjoyed the interview because it let us into her actual life, which I could appreciate a side of the show, a side of the silliness, a side of what's real, what's not. It was just nice to really get to know Bonita. I think, and I'm gonna speak for myself, and I said this from the very beginning, I love me some Bonita in the show. If I had to sit there and just watch Damon and Gigi, it was boring. She was just boring. Bonita brought a lot of spice to the show. I like her energy, and I already said, I'm like, that girl should just like be on TV. Like, I like her personality. So, but I ain't switching up. Don't take away some of the things that I said and some of the things that I felt, period. Just putting that out there. But I have to say that it's nice getting to know people because in their true lives, because then you find out you guys have some similar things. It's like, as far as how she was raised. She was raised by her grandma with strong women, and I get that. Same for me. Raised by my grandma, strong women, little touch too. They didn't take no shit. So I feel all that, and just knew her presence herself. I said, when they started going over like ancestors and God and spirituality and I knew she was a Virgo from the very, I don't know. I've been running into so many Virgos, y'all. I just knew she was a Virgo. It's been like Virgo season, and I feel like they've been dropping out of the sky for some reason. But you know, I felt everybody's energy in that video. Like I said, it was really nice to get to see her in a different light. You know, we find out that during his incarceration, she was kind of feeling like she kind of left him by the wayside because she lost her other brother. Again, another thing, I lost my younger brother, and that could really do something to you. So she had no emotions left to deal with him. So maybe that's why she felt like he went out and was looking for another connection, because she didn't have it to give. She didn't have all that time in her life. However, she says she had his back the whole time that he had been there. But she went into a slump. She went into a depression. You know, she was grieving. She was grieving. And then we find out the daughter also, you know, she was having issues in school because her daddy went to prison, which, yeah, same thing went through with my son when he went to prison, and he's still there now. We were just like drawing straws. Who gonna tell his daughters? Because at this point, he been like Damon, been going back and forth, and we were always able to like make up lies. He's at work, he's doing whatever. But now she's at a certain age where it's like, okay, we can't even hold that shit. We're gonna have to tell the truth. And to watch that baby run up the stairs and sit by the closet and crouch down and cry, I get it. It's so hard on kids. Me, myself, lost my dad to the prison system just when I was entering high school. So that's when a lot of my issues started to happen. Now, basically, she said that the mom sold her a dream, is how she got on this Gang on Love After Lockup show. Said it was all about black love and all that. She said she knew about the show, but didn't really, you know, watch the show, which that always make me pause. But she said she went watch some episodes of the show, see how they get down, had conversations with the directors, the producers, and they directors, so they can't really tell you what they really gonna do. But if you watch the show any season, you can see shit ain't gonna turn out the way, they gonna edit it the way they want to edit it for the showy part of it. But they also gave her the opportunity to use that platform to show her businesses and what she, because she said she learned that from her mama, her grandmama, and them. Like, how to be an entrepreneur, how to get out there and make that money. So it's just in her. So with that being said, she's like, cool, let me sign up for this whole little gig here so I can make some money, because he locked up. So of course he can't make the money. So yeah, let me get up here and make a little coin and then show my business and level up, which, yeah, that was cool. That's why she said, yeah, I said, yeah, let me do this. But then, however, when she see how it was platformed down, she wasn't too happy with some of the shit that was there. So let me circle back. What conversation I really enjoyed because was the fact that these two ladies sitting there, they were both into their spirituality, God and their ancestors and dreams and things and having discernment. I have that same thing, y'all. I have that same. So I was just really able to, I'm like, wow, because sometimes when you feel like you're the only one that got discernment, that have the dreams and things are just like God will put things in your life and it's incredible to find someone that's just like that. Because let me just go around the corner just a little bit. When it comes to dreams, I lost my dad in Hurricane Katrina. But if everybody know how Hurricane Katrina was, we were all looking for our relatives at that point because people were still like going to the dome, showing up. So for weeks, for months, we sitting here, we're looking for our relatives. I'm on the internet. I'm looking for my dad because I was, I'm daddy girl. Only child from mom and my dad, first child born on both. I'm the only child on my mom's side, or was, but because I had a little brother 22 years later. But anyway, I say that to say, during that time I was getting ready to get married. And I just had to ask God because it's been months at this point and there's been no sightings of my dad. And then sometimes all the relatives is like, oh, we think we found him. And then it was just another disappointment. So I just prayed to God. I said, God, I can't do this no more. Please give me a sign. Show me something to let me know that if he's alive or if he's not with us. That very night, hand to God, the ancestors, God, no. I had a dream. I had a white dress on and I'm running around. I'm like, I can't walk down the aisle. I can't walk down the aisle without my dad. I can't walk down the aisle without my dad. And then my dad appeared to me. He's standing in front of me. He's holding my hands. And my white wedding dress, it turned black. And he said, I won't be able to walk you down the aisle. And then I woke up. I said, okay. And like crazy. Typical Virgo. I'm like that too. When I need a reset, I like the ocean. I like the water. It just gives me peace. So Bonita said she met Damon when she was 12, when they were like in elementary school or something like that, middle school. Then they kind of, he moved or something. And then she saw him again at 18 and she's kind of like, he was about part of that life and she wasn't into what he had going on. She wasn't into things like that. She just wasn't into it. So then she said at 21, she circled back around. She was like an office manager or some type of assistant manager at this job, and her car was in the shop, so she had to take a Uber to her brother. So she took a Uber and she was looking good. That honk beep beep, decided to get out and walk, and then she saw him. They locked eyes, and that's kind of how they reconnected again. Now she said they was engaged before he got locked up, but however, he kept going in and out for like little stuff. And she's like, you could be engaged or whatever, but I don't want to be no prison wife. So she was just like glad she didn't get into this whole marriage thing because she see how this shit turned out. And she was saying like she didn't even feel like he needed to lie about Gigi. She always felt, she felt like Gigi was generally a sweet girl and he didn't have to lie about it. But she figured he knew that if he told her that shit while she'd been holding him down and he'd been talking, that she would bounce. And Bonita, she probably would, because Bonita's like, I'm a pop-off girl. I pop off. She probably would have really felt some way about that shit. She says, if I'm going to be poly, it's going to be my poly. He ain't going to get to pick any poly. He's not going to dictate who I be with, who I pick. When I'm ready to do it, it's because I want to do it. You going to come into the phone. That's right, girl. Show your strong side of what the women gave you. I like that. What girl. I like about her, she's got a lot of insight, okay? As far as incarceration and being incarcerated at a young age. Like she said, she had no expectations on that boy. She figured he'd been locked up since he was 19 17, and that's how you gonna come out. He may come out a man, but there's some things that he missed, didn't do, and she know he just gonna wild out. So as a grown woman, she understood all that. She understands the system. So she was like, he didn't even have to do all the sneaky shit that he did. Now, the only part that got me, that I questioned, one of the parts that I questioned is when Nunu asked her, did the producers prompt or was anything scripted? And to me, she kind of went around that whole question by saying, didn't want to see it crash out, didn't want to call the police, didn't want my kids, the kids to see. Like, she went around that question, but I can understand why, because she ain't trying to mess up her bag so she can still get paid. So it's like, well, if I say some shit, then that's going to mess up my bag. So she ain't about to mess up her bag. Now, what she did, she confirmed what I said about production. First of all, she said she was hot, that they was putting the camera on her toes, on her head, on the parts that just wasn't going to look good on TV. They did it on purpose. Told you. They be doing, please go off on the cameraman. Because I told you they was doing it to Carrington. They was showing her like, look at these cheap shoes. They do that shit. I told you they be showing, they was doing it with Gigi. They kept putting the camera on the stretch marks. It's like, why? Like zooming in on the shit, like looking for them. Like they do. So I said, I don't know if the camera person is a man or a woman, but thank you, Bonita, for confirming you see the shit that I see. I'm like, okay, I ain't crazy. I know that's what they doing. So Bonita is sticking to it. She didn't know Gigi. They didn't know each other. She said, however, Gigi is a sweet girl and she would have liked to got to know her because she's pretty and she's sweet, and she's like, I do go the other way. So would have liked to got to know her on a different level versus how she was brought in. Because she says at the end of the day, when he was talking to her in the prison, they wasn't, they didn't have no relations, but the fact that they got out and had relations, that made it a little different because you sat there and you played in my face. And she asked her about the whole release, she's the whole release date, and it was like, yeah, that was a whole lot to go through, to go and change your clothes and do all this, because Bonita said if he had came home to her first, it would have been harder for him to get away from her. It was a lot easier to get away from Gigi. Yeah, because Gigi was passive, it was easy to lie to her. She said she don't roll that way, so he already knew how she moved, so he was gonna move differently. However, she brought up the family member who all knew about the release date, how they had her cooking at a party, talking about, hey, and his ass was already home. She said, I can't really speak on that just yet, but it's going to come up. It's going to come up. But she said in a respectful way, because she was raised right. When you're raised by your grandparents, I'm sorry, you're just raised right. They teach you morals. They teach you how to be a female. And they just teach you a whole lot when you're raised by your grandparents. And then having older brothers and stuff, they teach you about it's okay, because my grandparents had 7 kids, 4 girls, 3 boys. So same thing, they kind of put you up on game, what to look for. So like I said, I connect. Again, don't think I'm switching up. Still don't take away. So just that I said what I said. She said, in spite of Damon's efforty, that when he's available, he's really available for his kids, that he's a really good father. And although her oldest child is not his child, he don't treat her no different. So kudos for him for that. However, he could have did better in their relationship, tricking her and shit. So on the flip side of Damon and in his efforty, she said, at the end of the day, he is a good father. When he's available, he's there for his kids, even for her child who is not his. He don't treat them no different. But I'm still wondering, you guys, remember when they first started the show, they said the man had 4 kids, 4 different baby mamas. Was that just production, just advertising him that way to get us going? Because that's what they said. I ain't making that shit. That's what they said. So Nunu was asking her about, being on TV, what that was like. And she said that she's always wanted to be on TV. That is something that she wanted to do. They asked her about things in the works as far as having a TV show. They kind of get a little innuendo on something, I don't know. But I said, I think a good TV show for her to start off on, I think she would be good for an episode of Miss Pat Court, because of the fact that she's quick with it and she can see. Think she would be a good person to be on Miss Pat's Court. I can see her on one of those. So kudos for her. I want her to use her platform and level up. I like her. I think she could go far as part as TV, because like her personality is her damn personality. And she's a strong woman because she came from strong black women. I like me some Bonita, but So she thanked everybody for their support, because there was more support for her, behaving like a grown woman. Because, she was saying people wanted her to crash out, said she should have did X, Y, and Z. She's like, I ain't doing none of that ignorant shit over this little fool. Like, we didn't know each other at the end of the day. So why should I act ignorant over this fool for being a fool? It's like two fools together. You're not going to know who the fool is. So she says, I'm not going to be the foolish one. Why go through all that? No, she behaved the way she should have behaved. And I said that in all my videos. At the end of the day, she's showing women how they should behave if they should ever get into a position like this. Don't crash out on a female. Go do some shit. Be petty with, because that's who deserved this shit. So we all standing on that. We all like the way she behaved. I know the people in my channel did, and I know that I did. Said that from the beginning, from the very beginning. I just have to say I enjoyed the interview, Miss thenunuverse. That was a great job. But no buts. That was just like a great job. It was nice to get to know her on a whole nother level, know her life, like her real life outside of the show. Really look forward to them coming back next season, because I want to see how the mama is going to explain how she was caught up first and all they shit with her grown ass. Anyway, don't be an asshole, y'all. I'll see y'all with something else later on. Bye.